Hey, welcome to the podcast. This is the Surge Effect, and this podcast, well, it'll probably have an effect on you. Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Surge Effect. In this episode of the Surge Effect, we are going to be talking about waste, taxpayers' dollars being wasted in both Canada and the U.S. It's an epidemic, folks. It's an epidemic. Before we get started and jump into some of the stories, both in Canada here and south of the border in America, I always like to talk about a couple of my sponsors, two of them. Number one is Love My Legs, Owen Sound, Grey Bruce. Click on the link below, head on over to their Facebook page, and check out all the different ladies' leggings that they have to offer. Number two is Heshirtssheshirts Plus. Head on over to their website, click on the link below. They have a Facebook page as well as a website. They have all different kinds of clothing. They're more than just a t-shirt company, and they do laser. Check out some of the laser things that they have to offer. I always like to talk about two other things. Number one is BCAA, branch chain amino acids. Click on the link below. Head on over to Amazon and pick yours up today. I use them. They're great for hydration, great for what ails you. Branch chain amino acids. Number two is, boom, my Rodecaster microphone. It is a beauty. You can use it for vlogging, podcasting, whatever you want to do. Great little microphone, and the price is right. Click on the link below and check it out. All right, so like I said, today's podcast is about government waste. Waste. Here we go. So the first I'm going to show you is, of course, Elon Musk has some people, some young fellas working for him. And one of the fellas' call sign's name is Big Balls. So this is kind of interesting. So this guy works for Elon, and they found all kinds of government waste in the States. So here we go.
Here's a little Mockingbird CIA corporate media compilation of how scared they are of Doge.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with Musk and Big Balls.
Big Balls.
Big Balls.
Big Balls, who work for Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, Doge.
In the one case of the Big Balls kid, a literal teenager.
Big Balls online, Big Balls here that Katie's talking about.
A 19-year-old that goes by the username Big Balls.
So that would be one way that we could refer to him.
Young computer whizzes, the aforementioned Big Balls.
Because who among us doesn't feel better about Big Balls in charge of American air traffic control?
Now, again,
well, he's not really in charge of air traffic control. That's a bit of a lie. What he does is he works for Doge, which is the Department of Government Efficiency with Elon Musk. And of course, they've been finding out all kinds of spending that the taxpayers in America have been, their money's just been getting thrown towards it. It's quite something. So I'm going to play a couple of clips here from some TikTok people and hear what they have to say about the government spending in the States.
If you have anything negative to say against Elon Musk and Doge doing a federal audit, then I've officially decided that you are a part of the money laundering. It's as simple as that. Because we the people deserve to know where all of our money is being spent and what ridiculous spending programs our government is wastefully spending all of our money on. It's not like we get to pick our own salaries like people in Congress. But no, these people have an issue with that, which makes you wonder, who's funding them? What are they doing? They're starting to sweat. And you know what I just found out today? Doge is getting access to FEMA's salary history. And I am so freaking excited. Stay tuned, everybody, because shit's about to get real. And also, if you really wanted to know where all of our tax dollars are being spent to at this point, you could just tell me the federal government spent millions of dollars to figure out whether or not Thanos could actually snap the Infinity Gauntlet, and I would believe you. Oh, wait! They actually did that. They also spent money on trying to do trans surgeries for various animals, torturing poor innocent beagle puppies, and spending $4 billion of U.S. aid on all kinds of stuff with a certain gray-haired man named Fauci. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. But anyway, I am so excited This is great. This is absolutely fantastic. The federal government 110% deserves to be audited because the American people have to deal with you guys up our ass 24/7. It is about time that you felt a little bit of the repercussions of when you F around, you find out. And finally, we have someone who's willing to go put their money where their mouth is.
So there's one TikToker, and she kind of nailed it right. F around and find out for sure. And money's just being spent fragrantly down in the States, and Elon Musk and Doge found out where it's going. It's kind of weird, you know. The Democrats are up in arms about all this money that's being spent just frivolously, and Democrats are all pissed off because Elon Musk and his Doge crew are making it known worldwide. So here's another fella here talking about same kind of thing, spending.
This U.S. aid thing is so much worse than people realize. Do y'all remember when people were angry at Elon Musk for buying Twitter for $40 billion? Because he could have solved world hunger with that money. Okay? Keep that same energy. Okay? We were supposed to have sent like somewhere around $200 billion to Ukraine. Remember all those little packages? Well, even Zelensky says that only about half of it even got there. So there's $100 billion that's just floating around somewhere. That could have solved world hunger. But your government was so inefficient and so corrupt, and you don't even care about it? In fact, you're more mad that we stopped U.S. aid for a minute and paused it so we can figure out what the flip all of our money's going to, bro? This is not a normal response. Your reaction is being manipulated by the media. It has to be, because you would be mad under any other circumstances. Imagine your dad left you a business that used to make you $100 a month, and now that business is losing you like $10,000 a month. You would go in and go, what's going on? And it's like pretend it's a mattress company. And you look at the expenditures and you're like, well, these aren't springs and cotton and mattress sheets and things like that. No, we're buying cement in Dubai for 10 times the price that anybody else ever paid. What's going on? And then one of the managers comes up to you and goes, hey, you're not supposed to have access to this warehouse. What are you even doing in here? You would be like, I'm getting scammed so hard, pause everything. Everybody's going to jail, bro. Meanwhile, Maui, North Carolina, and California are all burning down, and we never seem to have enough money for that. Hell, Flint, Michigan's water costs like $1.5 billion, and it would be fixed, bro. We give Ethiopia more than that every year. Then you start looking at all the politicians that have been connected to this thing, and you wonder, why are these guys yelling so much? And you look into how they're receiving their revenue. Oh, it goes out in USA, it does a little cool loop-de-loop dance, and then comes back to their families. Oh, well, Ross, if it was this bad, the news would have told us about it. Nope, because the other thing USAID is funding is all of the freaking media, bro. They are deciding what you guys think, which is why all of them have made you all think that we're the bad guys this whole time. They knew that if we won, we would see this and cut off their funding. There's a movie called The Truman Show with Jim Carrey where basically everything around him is like a controlled environment and things like that. If you found out that all of the same opinions that you've had from the media for the last 10 years were funded and created for you to have those opinions, wouldn't you pump the brakes a little bit and start thinking maybe the right-wingers aren't so bad?
See, this is the reason that the media control the narrative and people just eat it up. They just absorb it, and they just, not for the most part, like not everyone. There are people that see through the bullshit, but they are fed this slop, and people eat it up. And next thing you know, they turn the tables. It's kind of like with Trump, when Trump was saying about putting the tariffs on Canada. Well, everyone's freaking out about that. But don't freak out about that. You should be pissed off at our government for what our government has done to Canadians and how they have controlled our economy and how they have flagrantly spent billions upon billions of our money. That's what you should be. That's what you should be concerned about and what you should be focused on. That somebody has put a spotlight on all the waste, not just in their country, but in ours. So here's Nancy Mace. She's a congresswoman in the States, and she's asking questions about waste. USAID. Here we go.
Been a lot of pearl clutching over the last several days from my colleagues across the aisle on Donald Trump, Secretary Rubio, the Department of Government Efficiency's plan to reorganize the U.S. Agency for International Development, or as we all now know, USAID. They're screaming about Elon Musk over there, but hey, George Soros and his boy are okay. They scream that we're all a threat to democracy when they've been systematically dismantling democracy before our eyes. They've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And there's no going back. So I would tell my colleagues across the other side of the aisle, take your salty tears and sit right back down. USAID has long strayed from its mission to effectively and efficiently administer aid to advance American interests. USAID has become rotten to its core, sacrificing the prudent use of taxpayer dollars at the altar of advancing radical, sinister social and political agendas abroad. From discriminatory DEI initiatives to extreme gender ideology to marginalize real bona fide biological women. For decades, while homeless veterans sleep on our streets, our communities rebuild from natural disasters, and American families struggle to get by, USAID has pillaged and plundered the American treasury, essentially lighting American taxpayer dollars on fire, funding some of the stupidest, just dumbest initiatives imaginable, all supported by the left, and that's why their party is crumbling. Today, I'm going to expose some of the initiatives USAID has funded over the years and ask each of you a yes or no question. If you believe these expenditures of American taxpayer dollars put America first, so it'll be yes or no. USAID awarded $2 million to strengthen trans-led organizations to deliver gender-affirming health care in Guatemala. So to each of you this morning, does this advance the interests of American citizens paying for trannies in Guatemala to the tune of $2 million? Yes or no? Governor?
No. I have no position.
Of course you don't. Okay, USAID awarded over $750,000 to fund alleviating loneliness among migrant garment workers in India. Does this advance America's interests, Governor?
No.
No. I have no position.
USAID awarded $1.5 million for providing a gender-sensitive response to migration at the Venezuelan border. Does this advance America's interests, Governor?
No.
No. I have no position.
Does this advance the interest? Okay, so USAID awarded $4.3 million on October 1st, 2023 to a group to fund comprehensive health services for men having sex with other men in South Africa. Does this advance the interests of American citizens, Governor?
No.
No. I have no position.
I bet you don't. Okay.
So this goes on and on and on. You can find this clip actually on YouTube. That Nancy Mace, her channel as well. You can see that. So in sticking with the theme of does it advance Canadians' interests? How about Canadian interests as well as American interest? Well, let's just stick with that theme because I'm going to push forward into Canada here now. So here's Trudeau. He hands out billions of dollars to other countries while Canadians stand in line for food banks. Think about that. The Clinton Foundation, we gave $600 million to. Hamas, we gave $351 million to. Pakistan, $2 billion. Libya, $1.45 billion. Egypt, $397 million. Mexico, $622 million. Russia, $380 million. This list goes on and on and on. How much money that we've given out. And here's some more that we've given to the World Economic Forum, the WEF. Right there, December 23rd, 2014, World Economic Forum, there's $1 million. Another chunk in September for $6 million. Another chunk in December for another $10 million. Here's another chunk for almost $6 million. These are all the World Economic Forum. We didn't vote for these people. We never voted in the World Economic Forum. This is what Trudeau belongs to, and this is what Freeland belongs to, and this is what Mark Carney belonged to, the World Economic Forum. So this is what our government did just the other day. Breaking news. Global Affairs Canada abruptly deleted its entire public database of foreign aid spending. Isn't that something? Now, why would they want to do something like that? Is Elon getting too close? Elon's getting too close in the States. Maybe some of that money they're going to find in USAID, maybe it's found its way into Canada, then maybe laundered a bit and then found its way back down the States. Well, sometimes people, they catch things on the internet before they're deleted. So here we go. Here's the World Health Organization for $10 million. That was in 2024. This is from Canada to the World Health Organization. $1.3 million to the World Health Organization once again in 2021. $30 million to the World Health Organization. $436,000 to the World Health Organization. $25 million, $20 million, $15 million, $1 million, all to the World Health Organization. These lists go on and on. This is Canada. Look. This is Canada. World Health Organization, 27 million, 1 million, 9 million, 10 million, 4 million, 4 million. These are all tax dollars, folks. These are our tax dollars being spent by this government. Here's some more. WEF, 4 million, 2023. 2 million, WEF. Another one, 2 million. 5 million. The WHO, another 7 million. Like all this money going to the WHO. So somebody should be asking these questions. What happened to the database, right? When people down in the States they're like saying, "Well, who voted Elon Musk in? Who voted him in? Well, who voted the WEF in? Who voted the WHO in? This incompetent government signed a deal with WHO so they can control what happens to you if there's a pandemic. We never voted for those people." Here's another list, right? Who elected the FBI, the IRS, the CIA, FDA, DOJ, NIH, ATF, CDC, DOE, and of course, like I said, WEF and the WHO, or even Fauci for that matter. And they're controlling everything you say and do in your life. It's pathetic. Well, this man right here is destroying our country. Trump's 25% tariffs, everything. And everyone is going, oh my God, all these tariffs on Trump. Don't focus on Trump. Focus on this country. Focus on Trudeau and what his liberals have done to this country. Because of the insane amount of carbon taxes that we pay. And they're going to go up again 20% in April. And everyone's worried about Trump. Shiny ball, folks. Shiny ball. So here's what Trudeau had to say in regards to prorogation. He said this about, right here, June 17th, 2010. This is what Trudeau had to say about prorogation. That's what we're in right now. He shut our government down right now, and we can't do shit because he shut it down. And this is what he said 14 years, almost 15 years ago, right here.
And the 2 prorogations in 2 years, the first to avoid a vote of non-confidence that would have surely brought this government down. The second to avoid difficult questions. Anyone who disagrees with this government gets pushed aside. The challenge becomes that he gets to use every tribune he can use. All the media, all the voices, all the attention, and gets to further marginalize people who disagree with him. That's why we're talking about prorogation today.
He's talking about prorogation that day because that was the progressives. So he was talking against the progressives because progressives wanted to do prorogation. And he's standing up, spouting off about, why it's such a bad idea, and blah, blah, blah. Well, he's just literally done the same thing here in Canada. I've posted this up before in a previous podcast in regards to wasteful spending. And like I said earlier about don't take your eye off the ball. The ball is our country. Forget about Trump and forget about the tariffs and all that stuff. What's basically we should be focusing on is what our country has done to us. These are in the billions of dollars right here. British Columbia, New Brunswick, Quebec, Alberta, New Brunswick, Alberta again. These are LNG pipelines that they have literally not went with and left Canadians without jobs, left Canadians without money, because these are all money in billions of dollars that we could have had in our own purse, in our own pocket, in Canada. We should be living like Saudi Arabia. But from the incompetence of this government, we are not. So here you go, 10 billion, 25 billion, 28 billion, 11 billion, 11 billion, 11 billion, 18 billion, 20 billion, 2.6 billion, 2.4 billion, 0.8 billion. List goes on, 3 billion, 0.7 billion, another 4 billion, 16.1 billion, 15 billion, 7.9 billion. Add up all those billions of dollars for the LNG projects that we could have had in our own in our pocket, in our bank account. And this government has chose not to follow through with this. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But people don't talk about that. They're all hyped up about, Trump's tariffs and the border and all this other stuff. We're missing the ball. It's like the game. Look over here. You don't see what's going on over here. That's what's happening. But taxpayers, we are affected so much. So here's on the same token about taxpayers' dollars being spent frivolously. Here's another TikToker here, what he has to say.
$102 billion slush fund has been exposed by an anonymous X user, revealing taxpayer money being funneled into corrupt international institutions and ideological pet projects. This is not a fringe conspiracy. Anyone can verify these numbers on the government's own website. Some highlights, or lowlights, of this fund include $900 million annually for the UN, $44 million to Luxembourg for a climate initiative, and $10 million for abortion services in London, England. A staggering $186 million goes towards vague initiatives to promote women. $75 million props up the wine industry, and $200 million funds Canadian media, which conveniently acts as a propaganda arm for the Liberal government. Even more shocking are the countless millions given to foreign banks, including the Asian Development Bank and African climate projects. Canadians are also funding police forces in other nations, while domestic law enforcement struggles to keep up with rising violent crime in our own neighborhoods. DEI initiatives and multiculturalism projects receive a blank check, even though evidence suggests they deepen division instead of fostering unity. This isn't government mismanagement, it's government betrayal. Billions are funneled to activists, international institutions, and corrupt programs, while Canadians are left with inflation, crumbling healthcare, and poverty. The Liberal Party isn't governing, it's looting.
Isn't that interesting? What's going on in the States is going on here in Canada, but they don't want you to know what's going on. They want everything to be behind the scenes, right? Because, like I said in my one podcast, they're all the same. Right here, breaking. Brookfield Asset Management lobbied the Canadian government for $10 billion from taxpayers at the same time as the company's vice chairman, Mark Carney, was appointed as an official advisor to Justin Trudeau. Got to know the players, folks. You got to know the players. If you don't know the players, like I've always said, you're going to get played. So here's a little clip of Mark Carney, what he's about in regards to the carbon tax. Have a listen.
It's worked. It has had some impact in terms of reducing our emissions, making things more efficient. But as I said in my remarks, and I think certainly colleagues would know and people would know, it has become very divisive for Canadians. It's the perceptions of the impact, the negative impacts of the carbon tax on households without fully recognizing the positive impacts of the rebate.
He is just the same. Justin's taking his walking papers from this dude here in regards to the carbon tax. It's a joke, an absolute joke. So Mark Carney, right here again, Mark Carney, in his book called Build a Better World for All, Mark Carney, former governor both of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, claims that Western society is morally rotten and that it has been corrupted by capitalism, and which has brought about a climate emergency that threatens life on Earth. This, he claims, requires rigid controls on personal freedom, industry, and corporate funding. This guy is going to gut Canada with more taxes because he said the ones we have now are not enough. That's basically how he operates, right? And like I said, meanwhile, he is part of the WEF organization, and there's some more money we've given them right there in 2023, 24, and 22. We gave them $3 million, $33 million, and 30 million. That's the WHO organization from Canada, not WF, sorry, the WHO organization. More money that we've doled out. Here's Jordan Peterson. This is what he has to say about Mark Carney. This is quite interesting. It's quite, it's a couple minutes long, but it's well worth the listen.
Note in that regard that the newly ordained and inevitable grand poobah of the currently wretched but still dangerously powerful Liberals, one Mark Carney, is one of the world's prime advocates of the insane inanities of net zero. He is a man who has planned in writing, not least in his best-selling book, Values, the complete destruction of the fossil fuel industry. Bye-bye, Alberta, if that's not bad enough. And it is. He's also simultaneously an advocate of the same post-national view of Canada defined by Trudeau Jr. and his moralistic minions. What are we, according to such good thinkers? Nothing. But if anything, the oppressive, patriarchal, white, supremacist, identityless, colonial settler state defined by the progressive ideologues in the think tanks and elite dining rooms in Eastern Canada and the protest encampments on the campuses of Canadian universities. None of this fills the MAGA crowd with admiration, in case it needs to be said. None of it bodes well either for the economy of Canada, doomed to replacement, according to Carney, by the hydrogen, solar, and wind power that either does not exist, that would be hydrogen, or that would doom Canadians to starve and freeze in the dark if it ever came to replace the reliable grid and transportation we all so desperately depend on when it's 40 bloody below. We may, when arguing so expensively and incompetently with the Americans, continue to congratulate ourselves on our comparative righteousness. That diet will become even thinner gruel, however, in a future characterized by their explosive economic growth and our rapid descent toward comparative poverty and irrelevance, green though that pathway may be argued, however falsely to be. Carney, to put it bluntly, is not a man like Justin Trudeau, a second-rater under the mere influence of the World Economic Forum, that Malthusian fear-mongering cabal of authoritarian elitists, drunk on the fumes of their own self-righteous delusions.
Drunk on their
we
own
might also note in that regard
righteous delusions. That's it in a nutshell right there, eh? Jordan Peterson nailed it. So here is Milton Friedman. Milton Friedman was an economist in the States, or in the world actually, but from the States. And this is what Milton had to say about money.
Keep your eye on one thing and one thing only, how much government is spending, because that's the true tax. Every budget is balanced. There is no such thing as an unbalanced federal budget. You're paying for it. If you're not paying for it in the form of explicit taxes, you're paying for it indirectly in the form of inflation or in the form of borrowing.
Form of inflation or in the form of borrowing. I just read you off billions, and hundreds of millions of dollars that this government in Canada has given away while we are hurting here in Canada. We have our own issues in Canada, just like the states have their own issues. So the last video I'm going to show you is on Pierre Poilievre. Everyone always says, oh, what's Pierre Poilievre all about? What's he about? I don't understand. You know, like, I wish you could tell us more. Well, this is what he's about, and I'm going to play this video right now. And if you don't agree with this, then don't vote for him. Then he's not your guy. But if you do agree with it, then he is your guy. That's the guy to vote for. Here we go.
We are the second biggest landmass in the world, 41 million brilliant people. The third biggest supply of oil, fifth biggest supply of natural gas, biggest supply of uranium and potash. We have the biggest supply of fresh water anywhere on Earth, the fifth biggest supply of farmland. We should be the richest nation on Earth. These tariffs are a wake-up call that it is time for us to meet our potential. It is time for us to be a country that can trade with itself, a country that builds homes quickly for its youth, a country that allows entrepreneurs to succeed quickly and profitably so that success is once again rewarded, a country that allows hard work to pay off, a country that harvests its own resources, that secures its borders to protect its people, that builds its military to protect its sovereignty. We will always put Canada first, today, tomorrow, and forever. Let's bring it home.
There you go. That's what Pierre Poilievre's all about. That in a nutshell. If you can't put Canada first, and then by all means help other countries after the fact, that's fantastic. But you have to help out your home first. Just like Trump's doing in the States, we should be doing that here in Canada. Trudeau and his minions have sold this country down the river. We've had so much tax put on the backs of the Canadian folks. It is sickening. Sickening. I might have one more video to show you in regards to taxation. See if I can find it here real quick. May not be able to find it now. Oh, there we go. I did find it. All right, so since I found it, I'm going to play this for you before I sign off. So how much Justin Trudeau is bankrupting Canada, literally and figuratively. The 2023 spending report is a damning indictment of his government's utter detachment from reality. A record $1 trillion in spending, more than 10% in just 1 year. And for what? Not to help struggling families or fix a broken healthcare system. No, it's going to ballooning social programs and runaway interest payments and Trudeau's favorite pastime, pandering for political points. Listen to these numbers.
How much income tax do you think Canadians paid in 2023?
100 billion.
Dude, it's way worse. The total income tax that Canadians paid in 2023 was $350 billion. But wait, there's more. Because if we add the GST, the PST, the QST, all the sales taxes, it balloons to $422 billion. But that's not all the taxes the government collects, right? Excise taxes, carbon taxes, tariffs, duties, you name it. We can estimate, and this number is goddamn fucking hard to get, so this is a guesstimation here, okay? Roughly $500 billion for the year 2023 was paid by Canadians in taxes. Where the fuck did the money go?
Where did it go? Great question. Where did the money go? See how this is happening in the States? Now it's happening here in Canada. It's been happening for a while, but now a light is being shone upon this country. And like I said, people say, oh, Trump this, Trump that. It's nothing to do with him. Nothing. He's just basically focused now, that Canadians are focused on the money that was spent here in this country and why. That's what we need to figure out. All right? So there you go. You can go online, check out all the stuff yourself. Go on the government pages. As long as they haven't deleted anything, you'll be good to go. But before I sign off, I always like to say thank you very much for subscribing. Much appreciated. Helps with the algorithm when you share and like these videos. I can be found, of course, on all the different social media programs. I post those at the end of my podcast. Like I said, I always like to say this one last thing just before I sign off, is that about life being tough. Life is tough. No one said that life was going to be easy. My parents never told me life was going to be easy. It's hard. And everyone is going through something in this life. Everyone goes through difficult times. And all you can do is this one thing. And I always say this at the end of my podcast. You got to keep moving forward. You got to keep moving forward. Nothing for you back there. Everything is in front of you. Yesterday is history, and tomorrow is a mystery, and today is the present. That's why they call this the gift. So thanks again, everyone, for listening to my podcast. Much appreciated. Until next time, everyone, have yourselves a great day. Cheers.